This may be a difficult question, but knowing what you know now and where you are now and what you've been through, if you had a message for your teenage self, what would you say?
My teenage self, I still wasn't capable of knowing what was wrong with me, that there was something wrong with me. I wish that back in the 70s, which is when I grew up, that they were more aware of what certain behaviors that people had and what that meant. Now, I can say, well, this is why you did that, and this is why you did that, and this is why you did that. But at the time, I didn't know, and my parents didn't know. And if they did know, it was just kind of swept under the rug. And I think a lot of us throughout those years had behaviors that were swept under the rug that led us to the path that we chose. So to my teenage self now, I'd say it wasn't your fault. You were surviving, doing the best you could, just trying to fit in, trying to feel comfortable somewhere. So, and that's what I'm doing now at my age, is trying to feel comfortable somewhere. But not with alcohol and not with drugs, none of that stuff. Now I'm doing it from a different perspective and in a different way. I started smoking pot when I was 13, moved to a new area to fit in with the crowd, and that just started my spiral. If it wasn't weed, which I smoked that for a very long time, it was food. I gained a lot of weight in my younger years. Had surgery, got rid of the food addiction because you can't eat anymore, and then it evolved into drugs, prescription meds through doctors legitimately. And then once I got off of those, it was alcohol. And there's no hiding from alcohol. You can't run from that. It's everywhere, every day. And I was literally killing myself with alcohol. I received a pretty scary health sentence from my GI doctor regarding my liver. She didn't sugarcoat anything. She said, you're killing yourself, you're gonna die. They don't give liver transplants to people who are alcoholics and are drinking. Finally, last year in March, I had a pretty lengthy stay in the hospital, came out and they recommended Brightview. And I started Brightview in March of last year. I did have a relapse in the summertime. I started again in October, and I'm almost 6 months sober as of today. My battle is mental. Alcohol was just another symptom of me trying to suppress what's going on in my head. So alcohol was like the last resort. I was never a big drinker when I was younger. It's something that I evolved into throughout my years. So I drank at home. I drank by myself. I drank socially when I was younger, but towards the end there, I wanted to be by myself on the couch. So I was not going out and putting myself in situations where there was alcohol. But I was making sure that I had a bottle of vodka at home every day. That was my daily ritual. Wake up in the morning, check to see how much I drank the night before, check to see how much I have for the day, tell myself, oh, you've got plenty, you don't need to go to the liquor store. And then by the afternoon, I'd be either going myself or calling my husband to go for me. But I do not put myself in situations right now where there's alcohol involved. And that means having to remove myself from my family, large events, funerals and such like that, because my family, they're all drinkers. And they would not want to admit that they have a problem, which acknowledging my alcoholism would admit that they also had a problem. So I don't get a lot of support from my family as far as that goes, but I do get a lot of support from my husband, my son, my daughter, my son-in-law, my grandson. Those are the most important people in my life right now. One of the biggest things that I was most excited about coming to Brightview was in art therapy, we did a mask. So this is my mask, and I took it very literally. One side is pain, sadness, loneliness, and then the other side would be the made-up side, the makeup. And I actually reflected to the 80s when I used to wear 3 different colors of eyeshadow to work at the grocery store. I learned a long time ago about a mask. My dad was in the Army, he was a colonel, and I was the youngest of 7 kids, and we were like the Von Trapps. We were spit, shined, and cleaned everywhere we went. dressed to the nines, went to church every Sunday, went to my dad's functions, but that was a mask. That wasn't what we really were like inside. And so I still wear that mask to this day. So that was a pretty, I don't want to say breakthrough moment, but I enjoyed that art project a lot. That was one of the best ones that I've done, was the art therapy and the mask, and I still wear a mask to this day.
What is art therapy to you?
The hardest one that I really brings to mind the most is she wanted us to draw a place where we felt safe. And that just, even now to this day, triggers me, brings me to tears, because I'm still not in a place where I feel safe. So even now to this day, safe maybe right here now, I would say, in art therapy, I feel safe. But as far as me personally goes, that was a really triggering one for me. So it's something that I know I have to work on. It brought that out, that I need to learn how to feel safe in my own skin, and I don't. So that with counseling and different things, that's what I'm working on. I am very proud of my progress. I am very proud. I'm still working on, my self-esteem, my self-worth, my value. That's not going to change overnight. So I'm still working on that, but I'm proud of the relationship I have with my husband. I'm proud of the relationship I have with my daughter. I have a 3.5-year-old grandson that I am active in his life every day. I'm very proud of that, because it was getting to the point where that was in jeopardy. If I had continued on the path that I was going on, they weren't going to let me be around him. I'd like to say that I never drank around him. I wouldn't say that I was ever drunk around him, but I certainly would start drinking towards the tail end of when he was with me, for sure. But I lived in constant fear of doing something that my daughter would say, you can't see Wilder anymore. And that would have been heartbreaking for me. He is everything to me and to my husband. So, greatest gift ever. And the relationship with my daughter, that has improved drastically now that this dirty little secret is not buried. It's in the open, and I can talk to her and say, this is why I did this, or, it's not a secret anymore. It's out.